Is this for real? Questioner.
You must understand that I cannot help but ask you, is this for real? My spiritual search has only intensified over the years, though I keep it mostly very private these days. I spend the majority of my free time alone reading Ramesh Balsekar, Nisargadatta Maharaj, Wei Wu Wade, Wayne Licorman, Tony Parsons, and so on. I am deeply immersed in this teaching pretty much constantly, though I'd say probably not a single person in my life is aware of this consuming passion of mine. I've read several of the pages on your website, and the words you write seem legitimate, and in keeping with what I have come to recognize as true non-duality. But I am also cynical beyond all description by now. Is it so? Have you reached this understanding? If it is, what I missed. What is the piece I am overlooking? Can you tell me? It is quite clear to me that there is nothing more I need to understand, but it is also clear to me that I have missed the thing entirely.
The articles on my website are about the best I can communicate in words my experiences. Most of the material was written in sharing with people by email. The best way to share this, though, is through talking and meeting in person. Even talking on the phone seems to be better. But email and written words are at least an attempt to provide some hints and pointers. It sounds like you have been moving in some pretty good company, as far as the teachings you have gravitated towards. This reminds me a lot of where I was prior to my meeting with Bob Adamson. I eventually sought out Bob Adamson because I had a strong resonance with Nisargadatta Maharaj and was hoping to meet someone who had been with him. I had a strong desire to meet someone who I felt could talk from direct experience about this. I saw many contemporary teachers, but most, if not all, did not really seem to be living in the full experience of freedom. There were elements of clarity and freedom, but also other non-essentials mixed in, which was confusing. I knew intuitively that if anyone had truly realized their true nature beyond all doubt, Nisargadatta had done so. So meeting one of Nisargadatta's living students and talking about all this was an incredible experience. In meeting Bob, there was a dramatic shift, and it seemed to be just what I was looking for to bring me across the final mile. So to speak, this is just a way of talking. You eventually see that there is literally nowhere to go, because your true nature is here and now. Nor is there anyone who needs to get there. Bob was able to make the understanding very immediate and accessible for me. In a few conversations, things that I had read and thought about for years were suddenly clarified in a direct way. Literally, there was more understanding and growth through a single conversation with him than several years of reading and meditating on my own had been able to generate. Much to my amazement, I found that different aspects of the non-dual teachings were unfolding in my own experience and first-hand understanding, and it was much simpler than I had imagined. The books and teachings can tend to obscure the immediacy and simplicity of this. The mind, even in its most noble attempts, tends to make things more complicated. That is why it is so valuable to be sitting face to face with someone who really knows what they are talking about. It cuts through all the irrelevant issues and brings you back to the immediacy and availability of understanding your true nature fully in the present moment for yourself. After about a week and a half with Bob, I discovered the spiritual quest was over. That knowledge of my real nature was clear and solid, that there was no possibility of losing this understanding. Bob's teaching definitively exposed the roots of ignorance, bondage, and limitation in a profoundly clear way. Once the mechanism is exposed and is seen through, it is over, and you can't really go back to the old point of view. It is all about direct, first-hand experience. Once you see all this for yourself, the search is done. The need for books, retreats, and teachers is over. They are all pointing to this understanding of who we are. Once that is your experience, you do not need the pointers anymore. I myself had come to a point where I almost didn't believe it was really possible to reach this understanding. Fortunately, I was wrong. Bob said that Nisargadatta put him beyond the need for further help. Bob did the same for me. And so it continues. Bob mentioned to me later that if what I had discovered through his teaching was meaningful, I might consider talking about this with others. That has resulted in my attempts to share this. I just want to emphasize that this is all much, much simpler than we ever imagined. You can definitely and conclusively know your true nature and experience freedom from suffering and doubt. It is not a matter of time or effort, or waiting around for it to drop out of the sky. It just takes a little bit of clear seeing. It is really a combination of the clarity of the pointing and your desire to be free. Here are some key points to consider by way of review. Your own sense of existence awareness is immediately known and available at all times. It is not an attainment. There is no technique or process involved. You cannot gain it or lose it. It is here now. Knowing this fully is all the understanding there is. You just need to see it clearly. Thoughts and experiences never obscure your true nature. It is always completely free and available. We just did not see it because we were looking in the wrong direction. Once it is clearly pointed out to us, we can see this directly and with no effort. Once you see that who you are is constantly with you, you do not have an experience of moving in and out of peace or clarity. It is only due to contrary concepts that we seem to lose it. In fact, the thoughts are mistaken. Once we see this, the thoughts lose their grip. The belief that you are a separate person is the cause of all ignorance, suffering, anxiety, doubt, fear, and so on. That is to say, all self-centered thinking. Have a direct look to see if you can find the person you have imagined yourself to be. Ask yourself questions such as, am I really separate from my nature as presence awareness? And does the assumed separate person that I imagine myself to be really exist? This is not a practice or technique. You just have to look directly and clearly. Once you see that there never has been a person, all problems are resolved conclusively. All problems are for the person, not for your real nature. You just get clear on what you really are, and that is the end of the game. This does not take time really. It is more a matter of clear seeing. As long as there is a remnant of belief in separation, the separation seems to continue. But it is all imagination based on a lack of investigation. A few well-placed questions dismantle the whole facade, and you find yourself easily and naturally in your natural state of clarity, presence, and freedom. And it does not leave you. You cannot lose what you are. Talking directly about this helps to make it clear. Your own doubts and questions get undermined, and the living experience becomes your own. That seems to be how it works for most people.